Have you ever wondered what are the essential items an MC absolutely must take to every assignment to cope with any situation? Well, you're about to find out. Hey, it's Timothy Hyde here from ExpertMC.com, the channel dedicated to helping you become a better MC, both on stage and off stage. And if it's your first visit, welcome! And why don't you take the next big step in becoming a better MC by subscribing to the channel with the subscribe button there in the corner. We publish weekly, and it would be great to have you along with us. In this episode, we're going to have a peek inside an MC's work bag. So what is in the MC's work bag? Well, let's start with the bags first, and I actually have two of them here, I use both of them a lot. The smaller one is a roll-on bag with the handle and the wheels, and if I know I'm having to go a long way, walking from accommodation to venues and things like that, or through great big airports, I make sure I take that little one. But if I'm not having to go quite as far or I want to take a lot more stuff, I use this guy, which is a pilot's flight case. The brand is US Luggage. I've had this for a long time and it packs a lot. Great expanding pocket at the front. You've got the full capacity of the inside. You can really stack laptops and technical stuff, and then some expanding packets at the top. When I was performing on cruise ships, that was my main carry-on bag. I could pack a whole lot of stuff into there. Another pack at the side and the handles. Obviously you're carrying this one, you're not wheeling it along, but packs an awful lot of stuff into that, and it's the exact size to go into an overhead compartment. Even if they're very, very strict, if they measure that, it is the exact size, so highly recommended. So let's look at the important things inside the bag itself, and we'll start with number one, which is the Folio. This is the Folio, the MC Folio that I use. Doesn't it look smart? Stride out on stage with that, open it up on the lectern, and off you go. One side we have the pad with all your notes that you can write as you are going. I also keep some blank index cards, which are very, very useful in the pocket. You can keep quite a lot of stuff there, your run sheets and notes, etc. And this is something that you all should have, the Professional MC's cheat sheet. The cheat sheet is 20 questions that you can ask any MC, and you can download a copy of that off the website. I'll put a link to that in the description. In fact, there's lots of resources in the description of this video. So moving along, we've got something else I always take is some blank larger index cards. This is sort of a A4 size or letter size, and you can make your own signs. If you need to send a message up to the speaker on stage, you can write it out on that and show them. I also have my time cards. I have a whole set of time cards that I use, and I go 20 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20, 15, 10, 5, 2 minutes to go, and please stop, finish, please finish signs. The big secret I wanted to tell you, on the back of each card, write the time or the number of the card. So that means if you need to show a card, you can sort it out face down, not interrupt anybody, and then the appropriate time, hold up that card, and you know that that's going to be around the correct way. So that's a nice little tip concerning time cards. And while we're at it, this is the other thing that you may not know, these clear plastic bags that come from art supply shops. I love them. I use them a lot, as you will see as we go through. So these are great for storage, and you can keep your run sheet, your contracts, your flight details, any notes, etc. in there, and it keeps them nice and safe, and all the corners don't get mucked up. All right, moving along, we're going to go fast on this. The bell. I always take a bell, like a little bell, made in India, I believe, makes a nice cutting sound, and it will stop people talking when you ring that. But here's the tip. I find a sock, and it looks like another airline sock, doesn't it? And it travels inside that, so it won't ring or make too much noise as we go. Spare pair of glasses. I always carry one pair plus a spare pair, and because that would be dreadful with eyesight like mine. A watch with a nice clear face. I know some people don't wear a watch anymore, but I think it's a bit rude looking at your phone if you're on stage and you want to know how long they've got left. So do invest in a nice watch. Business cards, of course, and they go in my bag, and then I will carry a few of those as we go through. Now, this is the other clear bag. You had a bit of a peek at that before, but let's have a little look at what's inside. And pens and pencils, a selection of pens and pencils. I have some post-it notes which can go onto the run sheets, some clips, some paper clips, some bulldog clips, some highlighter pens of different colors and varieties. I also take a glue stick with me, as well as some tape, so that I can chop, cut things and put them back together again in order. All right, going into the finer details now. Obviously, a hairbrush or a comb. But look, you're going to be meeting a lot of people at your MC assignments. You're going to be shaking a lot of hands. So I always take with me some hand sanitizer or some antibacterial wipes, or both. And at various times, if I have a moment after meeting a whole lot of people, clean your hands up so you don't catch their germs and they don't catch your germs as well. And speaking of that, some mints is always a good idea, to chew on a few mints as you go through the day, just to keep your breath nice and fresh. And if you are talking a lot, like I am seeming to do in this video, take some soothers or some little throat lozenges, which really help. What have we got up here? We've got some Ziploc bags. I always take a bunch of these. I don't usually take the whole box. I just put that there as a reminder. But if you want to take a couple of things, maybe some nuts or some sweets in a little bag like that, or you want to take them from the venue, some tea bags or something with you, and that's also very useful. Take your own tissues. You're not sure what's there and you don't want to be sniffling around. You might have seen the water bottle. I've got a water bottle with a filter in it. You don't know what the quality of the water is at the venue, but I like to have some water at the start when I first get there, because they may not have that all set up by the time you arrive. So a little water bottle of your own is always a good idea. This is a couple of little itty-bitty bags, and I think I got these both at on airlines, and you know how they give you some toiletries, etc. This is Javante. She's from Singapore Airlines, but these are great to carry, and you can always store a few little things in these sort of bags. So gather them up as you go. This one I have some head earplugs and a small microphone, spare SD cards and some batteries, etc., and probably got some headache pills tucked away in there as well. Speaking of headache pills, I do have an emergency kit with me, and when I go to events, I don't actually take this one. I once again just put this in as a reminder, but I like to take some bandages and some headache pills and some lip gloss and things like that with me at all times, because you never know what is going to happen. Now, if there's going to be meals involved, please make sure you have a toothbrush of some kind and a clothes brush. This is a great little one I got at a travel shop. I believe it's a little folding travel clothes brush. So just before you go on stage, you can just check that you've got all the lint and fluff off. An extra notebook. This is a great little secret. I often find that you keep all your notes in your folio and the run sheets, etc. But sometimes you might pop out to grab a cup of coffee or something like that at morning tea time, and your client might say, "Oh, Timothy, could you mention this, or could you do such and such, or make sure you do this?" And so if you've got a notepad, you can jot down that at all times. So I always have that, always have pen and the pad with me at all times. So even if you don't have your main run sheet with you, you can do that. Couple more little technical things here. Make sure you have all your chargers that you will need. I also carry a USB stick. A couple of times I've had people give me some music or a PowerPoint presentation, and sometimes the speaker says, "Oh, do you have a spare one?" and you can just give it to them. So just carry a couple of extra ones. I also like these new power banks, battery banks, and this came from a exhibitor. If there are exhibitors at your event, just go and have a little look at what they've got. And I've got about 5 or 6 of these from an exhibitor on the last day, and they didn't want to carry them back, and you power these up and you can run your phone for a long time. Phones and iPads and things. I do take a laptop if I'm taking the big bag and I've got time to do a bit of extra work, but normally it's just my iPad, and that does me fine. But if I'm taking the iPad, I will usually then take a Bluetooth keyboard, and this is just a battery powered, it's a rechargeable thing from Logitech. I'll put a link to this in the show notes because I'm very impressed with this. Links into your iPad, and you can type a lot faster using the proper keyboard. So, and the battery life is quite amazing. It runs for quite a long time. So just 2 more important things, and probably this is going to save your life at some stage. It does take up a bit of room, but a little travel umbrella. I've actually got a smaller one than this, but my wife has pinched it for the weekend, so this is a slightly bigger one. But if you turn up at a venue, or and you've got to walk through the rain and you're going to muck up your clothes, you're going to thank me for reminding you on that one. And finally, the most important thing of all, my resource book. This is where I keep my notes, my jokes, my ideas, my checklists, fill-in material, quotes, introductions, little stories, etc., etc. And we in fact have done a whole video about resource books, and you can find that. I'll put a link to it up there and also in the description, so how to put together your own resource book. But here's a little tip that I don't think I put into that video, is at the back when you print it out is to leave some blank pages so that you can make notes, etc., what jokes you've used, what stories you've used, so you can then add them to the book. So see, there's some things that I have done. So this is always good. Put your name and a phone number on the front, so if you leave it somewhere, someone will contact you. Hey, it might seem like an awful lot of stuff that I carry around to my assignments, but I can assure you it's saved my life on many occasions, and I think it will help you out. But did I forget anything? If I did, please leave a comment in the comment section below and help out the MC community around the world. And that's all we've got time for. We've got another video coming up in a week's time. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so at the button underneath, or you can click my face in the end screen. And there's another couple of videos coming up, and otherwise I'll see you next week.